Just when I thought the HOA saga had finally quieted down, I returned early from a week-long business trip to a scene that made my blood boil. My mansion, normally a quiet sanctuary, had been invaded. Windows were open, lights on, and there were signs of someone living there, moving furniture, leaving dishes in the kitchen, and even personal items scattered across the living room. I immediately recognized Karen's handiwork. Somehow, she had managed to sneak in, claiming that because she was part of the HOA, she had rights to the property. According to her, she had been living there for 2 weeks while I was away, hosting gatherings, and even inviting neighbors over to see her HOA-approved interior design. I walked through the front door calmly, my presence announced only by the click of the lock behind me. Karen froze mid-step, a glass in her hand, her face turning from smug satisfaction to sheer panic. I can explain," she stammered, backing up toward the couch. "You can try," I said, letting my voice carry the authority it demanded. I had been trained for high-stakes operations, and even in civilian life, my presence alone had a weight people instinctively recognized. Karen's body language betrayed her. She was terrified, aware that she had crossed every line possible. "Step aside," I commanded. She hesitated. Then, realizing there was no escape, she slowly moved out of the way. I walked through my home, checking every room. Not a single item had been stolen. This wasn't about theft. This was about her asserting dominance, thinking she could claim power through entitlement. I called the local authorities, not to arrest her immediately, but to document everything. They arrived within minutes, just as Karen attempted to argue that she had HOA rights to occupy my mansion. The officers barely contained their laughter as I presented my proof of ownership and a federal badge as a reminder of my legal authority. Karen's story unraveled in seconds. The police escorted her off the property, issuing a formal trespassing citation. Karen was furious, yelling about abuse of power and neighborhood tyranny. But nobody listened. By then, her credibility had vanished completely, and word of her antics spread rapidly through the HOA community. Neighbors who had previously cheered her authority began avoiding her. Even the HOA president called, sheepish and desperate, trying to smooth things over. Karen, once feared, became the laughingstock of the neighborhood. Her attempts at intimidation backfired spectacularly. After the police left, my wife and I did a full walkthrough of the house. Everything was intact, save for a few minor disturbances that weren't worth worrying about. We secured the property, reinforced the locks, and made a note to upgrade surveillance. Sitting down in the living room with a glass of wine, my wife shook her head. She really thought she could live here for 2 weeks and no one would notice? "I guess some people don't understand consequences until they hit them in the face," I replied. That day, it became abundantly clear. The HOA might try to impose rules, fines, or even make threats, but no one could challenge us without facing the consequences. Karen's stunt had only reinforced that point. From then on, our property, our rules, and our peace of mind were absolutely untouchable.